If you're meeting an old friend at a nice coffee shop thinking that you would reminisce about beautiful memories you shared back when you lived with them overseas, it must be a great feeling. But what if that old friend turned out to have very bad, murderous intentions? And that intention is targeting you. But did she? The case that we are going to discuss today is one of Indonesia's highest profile cases, which has even been made into a Netflix series titled Ice Cold: Murder, Coffee and Jessica Wongso. But there are a lot of things that are not covered in the sensational show. Keep on watching to find out every little detail we are going to unravel. After being declared as a suspect on the 26th of January 2016, Jessica has just been released on parole 3 weeks ago, 8 years into serving her 20-year sentence. But her case was merely based on circumstantial evidence, causing people to think that she did not receive a proper and fair trial. We are going to talk about the details of the case, the odds at her trial, and the forensics as well. We were just as curious as you are, so grab a hot drink and let's dive in. Jessica Kumala Wongso is the youngest daughter of Winardi and Imelda Wongso, born on the 9th of October 1988. Her parents migrated to Australia in 2005 and had since become citizens. She studied graphic design at the Billy Blue College of Design in Sydney, Australia, where she met a fellow Indonesian, Mirna Salihin. Mirna Salihin was the twin sister of Sandy Salihin. They were both born on the 30th of March 1988. From father, businessman Eddie Salihin, and their mother, Nika Tutsianti. After graduating from the college, Mirna, who had to go back to Indonesia with her longtime boyfriend, Arif Sumarko, the pair had been dating for 8 years, since 2006, almost as long as Mirna and Jessica's friendship, while Jessica became a permanent resident and stayed in Sydney for a while. Fast forward to 2014, when Mirna was on holiday in Sydney, back to the superb beaches that she went to. Just like the rest of us, she wanted to catch up with one of her closest friends at that time, Jessica. The pair met, and according to Mirna's then boyfriend, Arif Sumarko, Mirna had told Jessica off about Jessica's current boyfriend, Patrick O'Connor, that he was no good for her.
Why are you so stupid for dating this guy? What about your future?
The tone and choice of words were not the best for Jessica's mood at the time, so she stood up and left. Arif did mention that Mirna can sometimes be harsh and blunt when it comes to giving advice. Arif also stated that after that meeting, Mirna began to fear Jessica and never wanted to meet with her alone anymore. Although, after Jessica and Patrick O'Connor did break up later on, Patrick sent a restraining order against Jessica because of the fear that Jessica would become more aggressive. Jessica's state of well-being has not always been the best. She was hospitalized 5 times in 1 year after trying to commit. One of the times being in August of that year, she crashed her car into a Leichhardt nursing home, only meters from the bedrooms. She had cracked ribs and was taken to Royal Prince Alfred Hospital. It had been said that she was drunk. When her ex-boss, Christy Carter from New South Wales Ambulance, where she worked as a graphic designer, visited, she mentioned that,
If I wanted to, I'd know exactly the right dose.
I visited her. She said, I want to go home. They're treating me like I killed someone. If I wanted to kill someone, I'd know exactly the right dose.
Jessica would also ask Christy Carter to help her find a place to live, where Christy Carter denied, resulting in Jessica to threaten her.
You have to, and your mom should too.
Not long after that incident, Mirna got married in Bali to her longtime boyfriend Arif Sumarko, where sources said that this resulted in a fiery jealous rage within Jessica. Mirna got her fairy tale wedding, where Jessica was not even invited. Merely days after the wedding, Jessica was fired from her graphic design job in Sydney with New South Wales Ambulance. Unable to find a replacement job, Jessica returned home to Jakarta, Indonesia in December of 2015, not very long after Mirna's fairy tale wedding. Upon Jessica's arrival on the 6th of January, Jessica invited Mirna and another college friend, Hani Juwita, and one other friend to catch up at Olivia Cafe, a fancier coffee shop in an extravagant Jakarta shopping centre, Grand Indonesia. The group had a group chat prior to their meeting, which revealed that Jessica told the group that she wanted to pay for the drinks.
Anyway, I'll pay for your juices, yeah? And book the table. Hello, Jess. Which one do you want? Where are we eating? Olivier. Oh, right. Yum. Based on Honey's suggestion.
I love their Vietnamese iced coffee.
Damn. Okay, I will order that then. And table for 4.
Yeah, so good.
Jessica arrived at 3:30 p.m. She wanted to avoid being late due to traffic, she allegedly said, which could be plausible knowing the country's traffic in the afternoon. From the CCTV, she was seen to be talking to the front desk of the cafe. She booked a non-smoking table for 4, asking specifically for table number 54. 2 minutes after that, she was seen to be looking around at other tables and glance occasionally at the CCTV camera and then at her table. Jessica now left again. She said she wanted to buy presents for her friends. She returned with 3 bags of Bath and Body Works at 4:14 p.m. The view of the closest CCTV was blocked off by the trees next to her table, but there was another CCTV from the other side that could show a clear view towards her table. After she sat down, she ordered and paid at the cashier. The CCTV showed it was at 4:20 p.m. Agustriono, her waiter at the time, delivered 1 Vietnamese iced coffee to her table. He put down some serviettes, straws, and poured hot water on one of the drinks. At 4:26 p.m, he left the table. Agus then came back to deliver 2 other drinks that Jessica had ordered. She then positioned her 3 shopping bags to allegedly cover whatever she was doing behind them. Some say she moved them around a couple times, which was later relied on heavily during her trial. Why did she have to move the bag around? Did she put the cyanide poison in Mirna's drink when the 3 shopping bags were covering her table? She, however, claimed that she was just simply bored. So yes, Jessica ordered 2 cocktails, 1 Vietnamese iced coffee, 1 hour before the other friends came, but apparently they were all supposed to meet at 5 and not 5:30 p.m. During the time of her waiting, Jessica also opens the straw paper packaging, places it on Mirna's coffee, and then proceeds to stir it, way before her mates are supposed to arrive. Fast forward to 5:18 p.m. Mirna and Hani arrived. By now, it has been 53 minutes since the drinks had arrived. It can be seen from the CCTV footage that when Mirna reached the table, she and Hani hugged Jessica before proceeding to sit in the middle, while Hani on the left side and Jessica on the right. Mirna proceeds to stir and then sip the iced coffee. Seconds afterwards, it appears that Mirna did not like the drink. She was fanning in front of her mouth and gestured to both Jessica and Hani if they wanted to try the drink. Hani finally had a sip of the drink. At 5:19 p.m, Jessica left the table to call for help. A minute after that, Jessica returned to the table and Mirna was still conscious and she kept fanning her mouth. There was a waiter carrying bottled water and he picked up the cyanide drink from the table. In the other room, it was also recorded by the CCTV that the manager, Divi Siangyan, sniffed and tasted the coffee and felt that the coffee had a strange smell and a burnt taste to it. She spat it out in the kitchen sink next to her. At 5:24 p.m, Jessica stood across the scene, watching as the horror unfolded, scratching her hand. This was used heavily by the prosecution in court. Why did she scratch her hands? One of the waiters then brought over a wheelchair, and at 5:28 p.m, Mirna was brought to the nearest clinic. Hani panicked and called Mirna's husband, Arif. Arif picked up Mirna from the clinic and took her to a bigger hospital at 6 p.m. Mirna arrived at the bigger hospital, Abdi Waluyo, where she was then declared dead. There was a video interview of Jessica's mum, Imelda, where she stated that the doctor that treated Mirna firsthand in the clinic claimed that Mirna did not show any symptoms of being poisoned. Imelda also claimed that if she was not taken so abruptly without an ambulance from the clinic by Arif, the doctor there would have been able to treat her further, such as giving her oxygen. But as she was, Mirna was not able to receive any proper treatment at the time, and adding to this fact, Arif did not even know the way to the hospital, so he had to make some calls on his way to his family members as to find out the location of the hospital. Now let's peel apart this case detail by detail. Even though the CCTV was very grainy, the videos were still relied on heavily in her trial. Even her lawyer, Oro Hasibuan, claimed that there were digital manipulations in the CCTV footage as well. There was no direct evidence linking Jessica to the murder. So, did she receive a fair trial? Her arrival time and why she ordered the coffee at 4:22 p.m. was questioned by the court and debunked by her defense team. The friends were supposed to be there at 5 p.m. Therefore, she wanted the drinks to have already been served to them by then. Unfortunately, Mirna and Hani arrived late. If they did not, as expected by Jessica, she would have had no opportunity to put the poison in the drink anyway. But Jessica's behaviour was also very suspicious when she said that after being interrogated on the day of the murder and coming back home, she would ask her maid to throw out her pants that she was wearing on the day. This was also brought up a lot in the court, and her reasoning was because she had ripped her pants, which can be true. If you're not the type of person that would fix stuff after it's broken, your initial instinct is to throw them out and buy a new one. But is that really the case? There were 3 initial suspects: Jessica, Hani, and the waiter, Agus. Despite heavy media attention and outlet reports of possible alternatives to the cause of Mirna's death, the police seemed to only want Jessica to be the murderer. Mirna's family also denied a full autopsy. There were no searches of the cafe itself, or forensics examinations of the drink preparations area for any traces of cyanide. Some media also informed that Mirna's husband, Arif Sumarko, could be the culprit, as he was seen by one of the so-called journalists who met Ranga, Olivia Barista, a day before. Arif handed a black package to Ranga in a shopping mall parking lot and allegedly paid Ranga $14,000 to put cyanide in Mirna's drink. Arif's motive was allegedly to get $5 million out of Mirna's life insurance money. However, this information was dismissed by the court, causing Jessica's defense team to protest and question the whole system of the court itself. After 32 court trials, Jessica was charged with the premeditated murder of Mirna Salihin, her own best friend. The prosecutors had no evidence tying Jessica directly to the murder. There was no proof of Jessica putting cyanide in the Vietnamese iced coffee. Therefore, she was charged based purely on circumstantial evidence. The district court could not find where Jessica obtained cyanide, what form of cyanide, liquid or powder, leaving a big gap of premeditated element. Paying for the drinks in advance was also seen as a strange and unusual behaviour by the court, as if it was part of Jessica's plan all along. However, in some cultures, like where Jessica had gone to college in Australia, it could be a normal thing to pay for drinks in advance to ensure that you are the one that is going to pay, like she wanted in the first place. The judges, all middle-aged men, also think that buying liquid soaps at Bath & Body Works were inappropriate between student friends. Therefore, Jessica only bought them to obtain the bags to hide what she had planned. But in most cases, Bath & Body Works soaps are pretty much one of the most reasonable gifts for family or friends of all ages. There were some sources that said the police interrogated Jessica without Jessica's lawyer being present, searched her parents' house without a warrant, detained her without a reasonable cause, compelled her to participate in a reconstruction of the alleged crime, and failed to order a full autopsy to determine Mirna's cause of death. Allegedly, they only checked her stomach, liver, and urine, and may have mishandled or even contaminated the coffee they claimed was responsible for Mirna's death. Jessica alleged that in the absence of a lawyer, Metro Jaya Police Commissioner Krishnamurthy attempted to coerce her into confessing. She recounted that Murthy threatened her with the death penalty if she did not confess to murdering Mirna, and assured her a maximum sentence of 7 years imprisonment if she complied. Whether or not Jessica is actually guilty, the district court only draws the conclusion that Jessica is guilty from her demeanour and circumstantial evidence rather than thoroughly examining all the evidence available. Some forensic examinations were also used for Jessica's defence. After 4 days, the forensics checked Mirna's stomach and cyanide of only 0.2 milligrams was found, but the exact type of cyanide was still unknown, whether it was natrium cyanide or potassium cyanide. The cyanide found in Mirna's body was significantly less than what it takes to kill someone, that is around 70 milligrams to 176 milligrams. The smell would also be very distinct. An Australian expert pathologist corroborated these findings, stating that an individual who had been fatally poisoned would exhibit significantly elevated levels of cyanide in their stomach, as well as detectable amounts in their bowel and liver. However, without a full autopsy, one cannot really determine the actual cause of death. Mirna showed symptoms for 7 minutes. She then lost consciousness for 1 hour before being declared dead. In the case of cyanide poisoning, it only takes about 2 to 5 minutes before it can kill someone. She did not specifically show symptoms of a particular poison. Usually the symptoms of cyanide are seizures, foaming at the mouth, and then fainting. The cyanide dose in Mirna's stomach could also have been caused by formaldehyde that was used during the storage of her body. Cyanide also does not change the colour of coffee. However, it was reported that the colour of her coffee was a turmeric yellow. Mirna did not show any other symptoms of being poisoned by cyanide, such as redness of the skin and the smell of bitter almond that came out of the mouth when the stomach was being pressed. There were also no traces of cyanide from Jessica's belongings. There were 2 other people who tasted the coffee, Hani and the manager of Olivier. The people who tasted the iced coffee did not experience any signs of cyanide poisoning, but they said they felt a burning sensation on their tongue. Although the Netflix documentary covered most parts of the case, they did not mention a couple of things. When Jessica scratched her hands while Mirna was still unconscious, she just watched from across the table. Scratching of hands can be seen as a sign of nervousness. Was she nervous because her plan was actually becoming real? The documentary also did not mention where she threw out her pants that she was wearing that day. Could that be an effort to lose the tracks of any evidence tying her to the murder? The part where Jessica opened the straw packaging and proceeded to stir Mirna's drink with it before she arrived also wasn't covered in the show. It was a big deal. Some would argue that she put her poison in that straw. There were many conspiracy theories surrounding this case, one of them being Mirna's own dad killed her. Mirna's dad put the daughters in life insurance overseas for an extensive amount of money. If Mirna was murdered, the life insurance of $6,800,000 Australian dollars would be paid out. A source also mentioned that the family had undergone a business issue during this time. Another conspiracy theory was that it could be lye that killed Mirna. Lye can be found in industrial-grade cleaning chemicals, commonly also used in restaurants, where if being drunk, it would result in a burning sensation. It can also change the colour of coffee and give off an ammonia smell. Lye also looks like sugar. Because of not having a further autopsy, this case was left ajar while maintaining Jessica's guilt, as if the police wanted her to be the only guilty party. We have to say though, it is understandable why a family did not want any further autopsy that could ruin the body of the victim. Some religions or cultures would back that up. But it is very contrasting to the family's action that demanded justice so heavily. Another theory was that Mirna was already poisoned before she even got to Olivier. But then again, this is impossible to prove without any further autopsy. Jessica Wongso has just been released on parole 3 weeks ago now. On the 18th of August 2024, one day after Indonesia's Independence Day, Jessica Wongso also got her independence. She came out of East Jakarta Women's Prison wearing a blue blouse, with her freshly dyed hair. She is now registered under East Jakarta's Correctional Affairs Authority. This means she will undergo an integration guidance process, which involves mentoring by the correctional authorities until the designated deadline, which is the year 2032.
What was the hardest thing for you about being in jail for 8.5 years? And the second question is, what would you say now to the family of Mirna Salihin?
Staying positive and maintaining my sanity and wellness. I guess that's the hardest thing. But sometimes when I'm feeling down, then I have to pick myself up again. And also for Mirna's family, well, I'm sorry for your loss. Like, it's my biggest condolences, but that's all I can say for now.
Jessica Wongso's attorney, Otto Hasibuan, stated that he will present new evidence, novum, that has been concealed by someone. This evidence could not be presented during the trial 8 years ago, but it is now ready to be introduced at the upcoming review hearing. Since it is a fairly new statement, we do not know the kind of evidence that the lawyer mentioned. However, in December of 2023, not long after the Netflix show about Jessica came out, Jessica's defense team reported Mirna's father, Eddie Salihin, to court on the grounds of concealing evidence. Eddie was accused of hiding and keeping a clip from Olivier's CCTV on the day of the murder. What clip, how, and the outcome are still unknown. Could it be the new evidence that is going to be presented by Jessica's defense team? For a little update, Mirna's father has just remarried with a young woman in 2019. Unfortunately, the woman, Tiara Agnesia, who was almost the same age as Eddie's daughter Mirna, passed away 11 months ago due to cardiac arrest after the pair got divorced. We were shocked to find this out when we were searching for more information. We hope she rests in peace. While Jessica might now be free, her name is still tarnished. Are there any other theories that might prove Jessica's innocence? Or is she just a scapegoat? If you enjoyed this video, you can binge watch our Australian Tales playlist where we discuss other Australian true crimes. We intend to make more videos just like this one, so hit that like and subscribe button. See you in the next video.